Okay. Until I join the others, I am going to start the lesson. We started the object-oriented designing and analysis, our subject, using C++. Right. That last week we discussed about the object-oriented programming. That I introduced what is object-oriented programming. Then we discussed about specific terms regarding the object-oriented programming. We learned what is object. That first we got idea about what is object, then class. Object, when we discuss about the object, then again we identify two specific factors there, behaviors and methods, attributes and behaviors. The behaviors also known as method. Right. After that, we discussed about the class. We identified as that collection of object that has similar behaviors and attributes. Then also we learned how to create object classes using the C++ programming. Right. Those are the things we discussed last week. Today I am going to start the lesson from example. It will help you to remind what you learned last week. Actually, last week we didn't do the class. That before the last week we started that. Sometimes some of you forget how to create in the classes object using the C++ program. Therefore, I am going to start from example. This example actually printing values of two students. That first I am going to explain that. After that I am giving time to complete the example, right? Within 10 or 15 minutes, 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I am giving you to complete that. If you are struggle with the example, then I will explain it after that, right? Before that, the first I'm going to explain the example. However, that you want to like last week, you want to join with our specific platform. Through this platform, you can do the interactive activities, right? There's practicals and other things you can do through this specific platform, right? That whatever the things you are doing, also I can check it. That's the advantage of using that platform. Therefore, before explaining the example, I am giving the code as join code for that platform. I am giving two join code like last week. Once you struggle with joining particular join code, then you can use the other one, right? Okay, wait until I am giving the join code. Right, go to chat box. Right, wait, still wait. Right, now go to chat box. Then you can see the join code there. Right, in this join code, all letters sign capital letters, right? Use capital letters. Right. Again, I posted that one. The join code I posted the last just now. This is the correct one, right? 2 capital J 6 UI. Right. You want to put this join code in the link. I think you can remember the link that last week I gave that link. However, I am going to giving you it again. Right. Now you can see the that link for that platform. Click on the link. Right. Once you click that link there, then you will display a screen like that. Right. Now you can enter the code. Right. That last I gave that code. Enter that code here and click the join. Right. This is the first code I am giving you, 2J6UI. This is the code you want to put here. Right. Then after that, click the join button. Then they are asking you to enter your name like that. Then you can follow the instructions there. Right. Still not giving the second join code. This is the first one. Try to use this one. Right. Still they are joining. Only 4 of your joining here: Mohammed, Nirshad, Pawan, Chamara, and Hana. Right here, I think you can see the second one, second join code. If you are struggle with login with the first join code, then you can use the second one. Right. The second join code also available with your chat box. Go to chat box and find the second one also. Here S should be capital. All the letters are in capital. Second one SJ2I8. Right. Now I gave both join code. You can use one of the join code to enter the specific platform here. Right. Then until you are joining, I am going to explain the example, what you want to do. The first example here. First read the example. Right. Here you can see the example. This is the example we want to do here. The first example today, we are starting from this example. They are asking, create a C++ program to enter the following details of 5 students. Here they are giving this input data. You want to input student's name, ID number, and marks. Student's name, ID number, and marks. Then output, your data should display in this format. Right? You want to input the details of 5 students. After you input the detail, then you want to print it or display it in this format. The first name, then ID and marks. Right. Then as a hint, they are giving use array of object to store the data. Right. Then I think all of you did that type of example using the procedure base in last semester. However, here you want to do it in object oriented, based on the object oriented way. Right? Don't use the procedure base like you one did in the last semester. Here you want to use it the object base, create the classes, create the object, and in that way you want to do this example here. Right. Don't start it now. That I am explaining it how to do it. After that you can that I am giving time to start it. Right. Until that, see what is happening. See the screen here. Right. All of you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Look at the screen here and here the example. When you are doing this example, first create a class. Create a class called exam. Here the class name is exam. Right. Then in the class, define or declare all the attributes as public. Right. Declare the required attributes. Required attribute as public. And in this case, required attribute that look at the question and identify what are the attribute you want to assign, ID number, name, and one attribute there. Right. Then check the question and determine what are the attribute you want to declare. Right. ID number, name, and another attribute there. Right. Then you want to assign public behaviors. That means methods. Public method. You want to define 3 public methods. 3 public methods. First one for getting marks. Getting name. And one method for getting name. Second method for getting index number. And it is okay to change in this one, right? It is no problem. First getting the index number, then second name, right? That depend on your views. Right. Then another attribute that go to the question and look at yes, marks. Another attribute for getting marks. Behavior for getting marks. Right. Then you need to define 3 public behaviors, so methods in the class. Another method to display the result or display the output. Display output. Then 4 methods you need to define in the class. All the inputs you want to do it in the main program. Right? All the input you want to do it in the main program. Then look at what you want to do in the main program. Main program. Create the objects. Create an object. Right. Then input, insert values. Insert or input data. All the input you want to do it in the main program. Insert or input data. When you are creating the object here, remember you want to create array object, right? Because you are going to insert the details of 5 students. Therefore, you want to open array object here. Create the array object. Then last week we learned how to create in the object, right? I think all of you can remember how to create in the object. However, look at here, use class name. In this case, class name is exam. Object name, you can declare any name for that. Suppose obj. In this case, only one object is created, right? Exam type, only one object is created. But in this example, you want to create 5 objects. You want to create 5 objects. The one way is you can create 5 objects, then assign the values. That's also okay. But the problem is you have 100 or more items. In that case, you want to assign 100 objects. It is not practical. Right? Then how to avoid this type of problem is you can use the structures, data structures. One of the good data structure is that initial data structure is array. Therefore, the best thing is here you want to assign an array. How you can assign the array object is exam, the class type is the same. Then obj, the object name. Object name may be any name, right? Here, as example, I am getting the obj. Then open square bracket, give the size of the array. In this case, 5. Then close the square bracket here. Right? This is the way creating the object. Right? Creating the object. Right. I think this point is very helpful to complete this program. Then in the main program, you want to create the object, then input the data. Then this input data you want to pass when necessary, right? Then pass this data, data to the methods in the class, to methods in the class as necessary. Right. Yes, that's the thing you want to do it in the main program. Right. Then again, look at here. The first, create the object. Then second, input the data. Then third, pass the values is as necessary. Right. Okay, this is the actually this is like algorithm. By looking at these steps, you can complete the program here. Okay, is it clear for you? Anyone to explain again? Is it clear?
Yes, sir, clear.
Right, okay. Now you can start it, right? Right. Now go back to the your login, Neopod login there. Then you have space to type the things, but use the code block. software, do it in the code block. Then after you complete the example, then copy the code and paste it in your place in here. Right, now start it. Right, those who are understood the points, you can start it, right? Others, those who are not, that one student says that explain it again. I am going to explain it again. Right. Those who are understood that points, please try to do it. Those who are not getting the things, only see here again, right? Right. Here our program is they are asking to insert 3 attributes, right? Asking to input 3 attributes, ID students, ID number, name, and marks. Right? For example, suppose someone enter ID number as 001, name as Amal, and marks as 50. Right? Then computer asks from you to insert ID number. Then user input 001. After that, the computer asks from you to enter your name. Then user input Amal. Then after that, computer asks from you to insert 50. Then user insert 50. These are the inputs. Right? Inputs of the program. After you input the data, then they are asking to, the question is asking to print it. How to print it? They are given a format. Right? The first ID number, then name, and marks. This is the format. Right? That the first detail of the first student here. Then print 001, then Amal 50. Right? Like that, the question asks to enter the details of 5 students. Right? Then you want to input the details of 5 students. After that, it want to print in this format. Then second student, another name, another marks. Right? Like that, you want to print the details of 5 students. Right. This is the question you want to complete. That I am asking you to complete it object-oriented base. This type of question you already did using the procedure base in last semester when you are doing the initial things with the C++. Then you did it, these type of things. That however, here you want to do the same example, same type of example using the object-oriented way. Right. When you are doing the object-oriented way, the first thing is you want to create a class. Right. The first step is create a class. Create a class. In this case, the class name, assume that exam. Exam is the class name. How you can create it? Using the class keyword. Class keyword. Then you can give the name of the class, exam. Then open the curly bracket. Inside the class, you want to define required attributes and the methods. Right. In this case, what are the attributes you want to assign? To complete the example that above I explain it, then what are the attributes you need to assign here? One attribute for input name, another attribute for input marks, another one for index number. And then think in that way, what are the attributes you need within this question or problem? Right? 3 attributes you need. The first one for enter the name. Right. Then how you are going to declare the attribute? that first determine the attributes data type. For example, name. Normally name is string type. Therefore, string name. Right. Then index number, suppose integer, int index number. Then marks, normally double value. Marks. Right. Here, this is the way how you want to assign the attribute. In the exam class, you assign 3 attributes. The first one for enter name, second one for enter index number, or third one for enter marks. Right. These are the attributes. Then same class, inside the same class, you want to declare the behaviors or methods. Through the methods, they are using methods to do the required things. And that first thing is you want to get the name. You want to input the name. Right? Get the name. Therefore, one behavior for get the name. Right? Then you can, all of these behaviors you want to should specify as public, right? That I am not going to put these things, except specifiers. You want to put in public. The methods also should be in public, right? Remember these points when you are doing the practically. Right. The first method you want to assign to get the name, right? The value for name insert through the main program. Right? That I'm already asked you to all the data you want to enter in the main program. Once you enter in the main program, then it should be passed to the class. Right. Inside the class, there is a method to capture the passing value. The name is the passing value. Then you are going to capture the name. Therefore, it need a method. Normally, method start with void get name, the method name. Right. There should be a parameter to capture the input value. Then open curly bracket. For example, suppose here the parameter value is string, therefore string n. Right. Then name already declare in the class as a attribute name equal n. Right. Through this method, it capture the value that passed from the main method. Then it assigned to the name. Right. That's the thing happening from this method. Like that, you want another 2 method, one for getting the index number, another for get the marks. And also, finally, it need another method to display the values or print the values. Right? Then you have to complete these things, right? Another method for this, the first method in the class, another method for index number, another method for marks, another method for display the value. Right? Here to get the index number, another method for get index number, then get marks, display values. Right. I think I have now explained all the things you need to do within the class. After you design the class, then you want to do, after you design the class, then you want to go to the do the things inside the main program. Right. Do the things inside the main program. Right. Then look at what you want to do in the main program here. Is it clear up to now that the student that who are asking the problem? Is it clear up to now? Yes. Now the things in the main program. In the main program, on the main program maker, in the main program, the first thing is you want to create the array object. Array object. How you can create the normal object is using the class name and the object name. Right? This is the way how you can create the normal object, single object. Use the class name. Class name is exam. Then put the object name. In this case, obj as example. Right? In this case, having only one object. If you want to insert the details of 5 students, then you want to assign 5 objects. Right? You want to assign 5 objects here. But it is inefficient programming. If you are having more than 100 students or 100 items in the problem, in that case, you want to assign 100 objects. Right? It is not efficient. It is not good programming practice. Therefore, we are not going to assign object for every items. Instead, we can use data structures. That means the first here we are using the array data structure to insert the store the values. Right? How you can assign the array object is exam. Use the class name, then object name obj, then open the square bracket. Inside the square bracket, you can do the size of the object, then close the square bracket. Right. Here, the array type object. Right. Array type object here. Once you assign the array type object there, then you can start inserting the values. Right. Insert in the values. You can assign that name, that first value you want to insert the name. Right. Once you input the name, then how you can access the name, how you go and put the value for there. Right. Then obj square bracket obj square bracket, then put the value here. Use dot operator, dot name. Right. This is the way how you can put in the value or access in the attributes obj. That last time I think you can remember we used dot operator to assign the values, to access the values like that in the object. Right? That if you want to put the name for the first student, right, then use obj 0 dot name. The second one obj 1 dot name. Right? Then obj 2 dot name. Right? again, we are not going to do the same this practice 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. Instead, we are using the variable. Right? Instead of value, we are using variable. Suppose I. Then we can say I is starting from 0, ending from 5. That means you can use a loop for that. Right. Now think and try to do it. I am giving 10 minutes to complete that, right? Right. Yes, you need put the array here, right? To put the values to the array, you want to use the loop. Right. Try to complete it within 10 minutes. Right. If you are having some problem with login, then try it again. It should be work. It's a working link. Still, you are having the problem. Do the program separately. Then WhatsApp to my number. Right. Take a photo and WhatsApp it. At least you can do in that way, right? If you are having a problem with login this platform, try to do that, right? Try to log in that. If not, do that the alternative one. Right here, one student completed, then send it me. Then I am discuss that question with that student, Mohammed Dilshad, right? Others continue the question. Only Mohammed Dilshad concentrate here. Mohammed Dilshad, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can hear you.
Right. Okay. Right here, your program exam public 3 variables. Right. Public methods set name. Right. String value. Go get the ID values, then marks. Right. Get details ID. Yes, that's correct. Here you want to get the put the variables. Right here, why these 3 variables again?
අර ඉන්පුට් එක මේ වේරියබල් එකට ඇසයින් කරලා මේ වේරියබල් එකකින් පාස් කරා සර්.
හරි, දැන් මෙතන ක්ලාස් එකේ ඒවා assign කරලා තියෙනවනේ variable 3. මේක public. ඒතර ඒ public කියලා assign කරපුවාම ආයෙ assign කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. public variables මේ program එකේ හැමතැනටම අදාළ වෙනවා.
ඕකේ සර්.
ඔයාගේ program එකේ මේ ටික අයින් කරලා බලන්න.
ඕකේ සර්.
object හරි array එක හරි. student 1 name td හරි. yes හරි අනිත් ඒවා හරි ඔක්කොම.
ඕකේ සර්.
අතන රන් වෙනවා. අපි මේ ටික අයින් කරලා බලන්න.
සර් වේරියබල් නේම් එක එතකොට චේන්ජ් කරන්න වෙන්නේ සර්. ඉන්පුට් ගන්නකොට.
කොතනද මේකද name
ඔව් සර්.
ඉන්පුට් කරද්දී ඒක මේ array එකෙන් ඉන්පුට් එක දැන් මෙතන එතකොට array එකේ නම ඔය අරන් තින්නේ obj නේ. එහෙනම්
ඔව් සර්.
obj මෙතන මම value එක දාන්නම් first එක dot 0. ඔන්න ඔය විදිහට තමයි එන්න ඕනේ.
ඕකේ සර්.
එතකොට අර public කියලා මෙතන assign කරපු මෙන්න මේ variable එකම තුනම පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. නැවත ඒක assign කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ.
ඕකේ සර්.
right ඒක ටික change කරන්න පොඩ්ඩක් change කරලා. And I think that Mohammed update that part.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll see your one again. Yes, compilation okay. In the main program, yes, now you remove the that extra attributes. Yes. Input values name, yes, obj I, ID number obj index value there, then pass in. Yes, that's the way how you can pass the values to the methods in class, right? That's correct also. It's okay. Name, ID number, say string value. You are giving a string value, no?
Yes, sir. String.
Uh, Marks. Right. Student 2. Marks. Student 3. Marks. Right. Student 4. Student 5. Right. Yes, that's the format I want to print the details. Right. Good. Okay, Mohammed. Right. Okay. Right. Then what about the others? Only the Mohammed is completed. If you are having partly completed, also you can submit. Right. Then we can check the answer and complete the rest of the program. If you are like to complete in your program, then you can submit the partial one also. කොටසක් හරි කරලා තියෙනවා නම් සබ්මිට් කරන්න. ඉතින් ටික කම්ප්ලීට් කරගන්න පුළුවන් මම මේ කොටස අරගෙන පැහැදිලි කරන්නම්. එතකොට කම්ප්ලීට් කරගන්න පුළුවන්. Right, we'll see Chamara Sandakalum submit the program. We'll see Chamara's one. Right, 3 attributes, public attributes in the exam, then methods, get D number for getting the index number, get name, the other one for get marks, right? Display value, yes. Yes, correct. That one also correct, right? Now it's there. Dot h. Chamara, can you hear me? I know the chamara. Right. මෙතන dot h part එක අයින් කරන්න මේ code block එකේ dot h එක ගන්නෙ නැහැ. හරි. Compilation. Okay. අපි බලමු run කරලා. Enter first student ID number. The student name, marks. Enter second ID number, name, and marks. Third one, name and marks. Fourth one, name and marks. Fifth one, name and marks. Right. Printing. Okay. හොඳයි. චාමර එක හරි Okay. Right. Then what about the others? Yes, another one submitted. Pawan, few month. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Right. Right. හරි. හරි. පවන් මේක රන් වෙනවනේ. කම්පයිල් වෙනවා. right. මම හරියට තියෙනවා මම නැවත නැවත කරන්නේ නැහැ. අපි ඒක හරි ඒක හොඳයි. දැන් තව කෙනෙක් කියවලා තියෙන අපි බලමු. චේති විතානගේ. චේති ඇහෙනවද?
Yes, sir.
අපි මෙතනින්ම බලමු. වැරද්දක් තිබ්බොත් මේක අපි කෝඩ් බ්ලොක් එකට ගමු. මේක රන් වුණාද?
Oh, sir.
මේ data pass කරලා නැහැ නේද? නේද?
සර ලූප් එක ඇතුලේ තියෙන මේ variables වලට
මේ ටික
data pass කරලා.
loop එක ඇතුලේ
පළවෙනි for loop එක ඇතුලේ.
for loop එක මේකනේ පළවෙනි for loop එක.
ඔව් සර්.
මේක ඇතුලේ දැන් ඔයා මේ ටිකෙන් කරන්නේ data input කරන එකනේ.
ඔව් සර්.
නම input වෙන. එතන නම කොහොමද class එකට යන්නේ? class එකේ ඉන්න get name කියන method එකට නම යන්නේ කොහොමද?
සර exam object එකේ ගිහිල්ලා save වෙනවා සර් array එකට.
data pass කරන්න නැතුව හදලා තියෙන්නේ.
ඔව් සර්.
කෙලින්ම යන විදියට. හරි. ඒක data pass කරන ක්‍රමයටත් හදන්න. ඒ විදියට චුට්ටක් හුරු වෙන්න ඕනේ. හරි.
ඕකේ සර්.
link එකට log වෙන්න බැරි අය මම කිව්වේ ඉස්සෙල්ලත් පොඩ්ඩක් code block එකකින් කරලා මට WhatsApp එකට හරි දාන්න. internet connection එක හොඳට තියෙනවා නම් අවුලක් නැහැ link එක join වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. තව ස්ටුඩන්ට් කෙනෙක් සබ්මිට් කරලා තිනවා මොහමඩ්.
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is your one.
Yes, sir.
Get index, get marks. Yes. Yes, okay, your one is correct, right? Good.
Thank you.
Right. 5 දිනක් වෙලා තිනවා අනිත් group එකේ කවුරුත් නැහැ තාම. හොඳයි අපේ time එකත් යන නිසා මම මේක කරලා නම් right. Those who are not clear, then you can see the things I am doing here. Right. Now I am going to do the same program. That first you need to create a class. Class name that I am using, I am asking you to use the exam as the class name. Right. Then open curly brackets. Then you want to need 3 public variables or public attributes. Here one for index number. Another for name and another variable for right. Here also I am giving integer for marks. Right. These are the 3 attributes, so variables we need to declare for this problem. Right. Those who are not clear, then you can see the screen now. Right. Then you need methods. You need to define the method. Method also should be public. Right. Then first method for get the value from methods from main method to get the value for somewhere else, from somewhere else, right? Get the value from somewhere else. Right. Therefore it need a method. Normally the methods you can start with void. Right. You can start with void. Then method name, get name, first one is index number, therefore I am saying get IND then open and close the curly bracket. Right. This method for capture the index number. The index number passing from main method. Then we need to parameter to capture the index number. Therefore, we need to declare a their data type is integer variable. Suppose a, right? The value for a passing from main program. Right? After passing it through the main from the main program, then it captured by the a, then it assigned to IND number. IND number is the attribute in the same class. That's the public. Therefore, you can say int number equal a. Right. Then another variable method need to get the name. Right. Suppose here get name. Right. That similarly here also need the parameter to capture the name passing from the main program. Main program එකේ ඉඳලා එන නම අල්ලගන්න parameter එකක් get name වලට ඕනේ. එතකොට main program එකේ ඉඳලා එන්නෙත් ඒක string value එකක් විදියට. එහෙනම් string parameter එකක් තමයි මෙතෙන්ට ඕනේ. right? String suppose n. right? the main program එකෙන් එන value එක n වලින් අල්ල ගන්නවා. n වලින් අල්ලගෙන ඒක අවශ්‍ය අපි මේක variable එකට දානවා. variable එකේ නම name. name equal n. Then another method we need to capture the marks. Get marks. Right. The same thing you want to do to capture the marks. Need the variable, integer variable, suppose b. Right here, marks, the variable name in the class marks equal b. Right. Then three variable for get the values. Then another three method for get the values. Then another method we need to display the values. Right. Then I say it as display info. Here you need to display the info, the variables, the value for these variables coming from main program. Right. Calculate in the main insert in the main program. Right. Here you need to print it. Therefore, you see out there you are going to print the variable here. Right. Print the variable here. See out the first variable IND number. IND number is available in the same class. Right. In the same class as a variable IND number. Right. Therefore, no need to assign parameters here because these variables are available in the same class. Right. In this case, we are not going to again pass in from the values from the main method. Right. To print, they are using the values in the same class. And the first one IND number. IND number. Right. Then we need the space between variables. You can use /t to keep the space between variable. Then name. Again, you can use /t marks. හරි. ඒකේ දැන් මේ variable තුනට අදාළ values main program එකෙන් නැවත pass කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මොකද IND name කියන එක මම මේක highlight කරපුවාම ඔයගලන්ට පේනවා මේ රතු පාටින් IND number එක මෙතනට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. value එක main program එකෙන් pass කරලා IND number එකට දාගෙන ඉන්නේ. ඒ දාගත්ත value එක තමයි display information එකෙන් print වෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා නැවත මෙතනට ආපහු parameters විදිහට pass කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. name කියන එකත් ඒ වගේ. class එක ඇතුළේමයි තියෙන එකම class එකේ. ඕක මම highlight කරොත් බලන්න name කියන එක උඩ තියෙනවා. marks කියන එකත් උඩ තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා නැවත display information වලට parameter pass කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. Right. That's the end of class. Right. Class declaration. We define attributes and methods relevant to this problem. Right. Now you want to go design the main program. Start it in main. Right. You need to, the problem asking you to enter the details of 5 students. Therefore, we need to assign an array to insert the values of 5 students. Right. Then see how can declare the array objects. The same class name exam you can use to create the object. Then you can give the object name. Suppose object name obj. Here should be array object. Therefore, open the square bracket and close it. Within square bracket, give the size. Here I am asking you to put the 5, but in this case I am giving 2. Right? In my program, because to reduce the type in the values, I am giving the 2 here. Right? In your case, put 5. After you create in the array object, then you need to insert or input the values. That first value name, see out. Suppose enter name. That's the message for users. Then value you want to enter through the keyboard. Therefore, you see in. Right. Now, how you assign the value? Obj, object name, obj. If it is just an object, single object, just use the dot operator. Right? But this case, it is not a single object. It's an array. Therefore, you want to declare the array size here. Right? 0, the first one, 0 dot. 0 dot name. Variable name is name. Right. In this way, you want to define the values. මෙතනදී array එකේ පළවෙනි location එකට නම දාගන්න ඕනේ. පළවෙනි location එක තමයි බිඳුව. right? ඒ විදිහට පළවෙනි location එකට index number එක දාගන්න ඕනේ. මම පළවෙනි එක index ඒ ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. ඒක type කරන්නම් මේ විදිහට. Enter index number. Variable එක IND now. මේ array එකේ පළවෙනි location එක බිඳුවෙන් කියන්නේ පළවෙනි location එකට IND එක දාගත්තා, index එක number එක දාගත්තා, නම දාගත්තා, ඊළඟට marks දාගන්නත් ඕනේ. Enter marks. පළවෙනි location එකේ ඒතර variable name එක එන්නේ marks කියලා. Yes. මේ ටිකෙන් කියන්නේ පළවෙනි ලොකේෂන් එකට ඉන්ඩෙක්ස් නම්බර් එක නම මාක්ස් දාන්න. එතකොට මේ විදිහම එකක් නැවත රිපීට් වෙනවා. දෙවෙනි ලොකේෂන් එකට. මේකම නැවත රිපීට් වෙනවා දෙවෙනි ලොකේෂන් එක. ඔය විදිහට තුන්වෙනි ලොකේෂන් එක ඕක දෙවෙනි ලොකේෂන් එකට යනකොට මේක එක වෙනවා. බිඳුව වෙනුවට අපි එක කරන්නේ. ඕක එක වෙනවා. ඔය විදිහට තව එකක් රිපීට් වෙනවා. තුන්වෙනි ලොකේෂන් එකට 3 ඔයගොල්ලෝ දීලා තියෙනවා නම් දැන් මගේ එකේ ඔය දෙක විතරයි යන්නේ. මොකද ඇරේ සයිස් එක දෙකනේ දීලා තියෙන්නේ. 100ක් තිබ්බොත් 100කට යන්න ඕනේ. ඒ නිසා මේ කෝඩ්ස් නැවත නැවත ලියනවනේ. writing this code repeatedly. ඒක avoid කරන්න අපිට පුළුවන් loop එකක් use කරන්න. එහෙනම් නැවත මේ විදිහට අපි ලියන්නේ නැහැ. array size එක බිඳුව වෙනුවට variable එකක් use කරන්න. Instead of 0 values you can use variable. Now you can say variable start from you can use a for loop here for name of the variable start from 0, it's up to 2, stop at 2 and increase by 1. Then open brackets and close it. I is a variable, newly assigned variable, therefore we want to declare it. That's the integer type in. Right. So this code segment says input the value. Once you input the value, then you need to this input value pass to the required method in the class. Input කරයින් පස්සේ මේ value ටික අපි pass කරගන්න. Right. Then we'll see how can pass this value. Therefore, you need to call with the relevant method in the class. Then how you are going to call it? Using again object name obj. The same I you can use here. Dot first one get index. Get index. Through this you are going to pass the index number. Therefore, you want to give the value. Value එක දෙන්න එපා මෙතන. වරහන ඇතුලේ pass කරන්න ඕනේ value එක දෙන්න. මොකද්ද value එක? අපි enter කරන value එක. keyboard එකෙන් enter කරන value එක. right. එතකොට මේ keyboard එකෙන් enter කරන value එක මොකද්ද මෙතන? IND number. නම් IND number තමයි pass කරන්නේ. හැබැයි ඔක object එකක්. Object oriented. වල array එකේ පළවෙනි location එකේ. එහෙනම් obj C0 තමා location එක. නමුත් අපි I වලින් යන්නේ. I dot. ඔන්න ඔතනින් තමා call වෙන්නේ. මෙතනින් මේ value එක අපි keyboard එකෙන් enter කරන value එක pass වෙනවා උඩ තියෙන class එකේ මෙන්න මේ get name get index කියන මෙන්න මේ method එක. හරි. ඒතර මේ method එකේ a තියෙනවා අල්ල ගන්න එවන value එක. අල්ලගෙන ඒක දා ගන්නවා IND number. ඒ විදිහට you want to pass the name obj I not get name. obj I variable name here name. Then third one obj I get marks. Pass in value obj I dot marks. In this way, you want to pass the value from main method to required methods in the class. Right. Then you want to print it. Then to print the values that already you have a method in the class display info. This is the method. Right. Then you want to call this display info within main program. You want to call it. Before calling it, then you want to put a heading name, index number. That heading you can print it in the main program using the cout statement. Name, then put a space between name, first one index number, second one name, and marks. That's the heading. Then you want to call the display information. How you are going to call it? Obj, it's an array, I dot display information. Then you want to say the I should be starting from 0 to n 2, 0 to 2. Right. Therefore, you want to use a for loop again for I starting from 0, go to 2 and increase by 1. Right. Then put the open and close in curly brackets. Right. That's the end of our program. Right. Okay. Then look at the program again here. The first we declare a class. Inside the class, we declare 3 attributes or 3 public variables, ind num, name, and marks. Then public methods, 4 methods here available. The first one for get the index number. Then second one for get name. Third one for get marks. The fourth one for display information. All of the relevant values we are passing from main method. Right. Inside the main method, this is the way how you create the array object. This is the way how you create the array object. Then this set of code info input the values. This set of code info call in the method. So pass in values to the methods in the class. Right. Then final code for here display the call in the display info method in the class. Right. Now you can compile it. Build the program. Here they are saying one error. I think method name is conflict. Here having display disp info. Disp info. Here only dis info. Therefore, giving some conflict with the name. Now it is okay. Can compile it again. Okay, now 0 error 0 1. Right now you can run it. See the required result is appear. Enter index number. Index number here I am giving as an integer value. Name and marks. Then another index number, name and marks. Right. Here printing it again. Okay, that's the way I want to print. That's the format. There is a big space here. Then you can adjust these small type of things. Don't worry about these things here. That's the way doing this type of program in C++. Okay, is it clear, this program here? Students, is it clear? Okay, I think all of you get the logic and the things behind this type of program. Right, then later you can extend this program, right? When you are in the home or when you are in the free time, then you can extend this type of program like we did in the last semester when we are doing the procedure base, right? Then options available. If you are clicking one, then use the computer, the system asks from you to enter which option, insert values or display values or calculate something like that. The computer asks from you, system asks from you the options, right? Then please enter your option, right? Then user enter one, it should be able to input values. Only the screen display to input the values, right? Like that. If you are press 3, then display the values. Right? I think this type of program you did in the last semester using case structure, switch case structure, right? The same structure you can apply here by applying this type of thing. Try to do this type of thing, right? We are not do the separate example here because we have in more theoretical part to discuss and object oriented. However, you can try it, right? Can you please explain again simply? Okay, I think I am explained it several times. However, you are asking it, therefore, that simply I am explaining it, not in detail. First, you need to create the class. This is the way how you can create the class using the class keyword. Right? Here, the class name is exam. Right. Inside the class, you need to assign attributes and behaviors, attributes and methods. Attributes for assign values, methods for doing something. Right? In our problem, we have 3 attributes. First one, index number. That's the integer type. Index number for assign the index numbers of the student. Second one, name. Name variable for assign the name of the students. Then marks. Marks for assign the marks of the students. Right? Then how you determine these attributes? Can someone tell me how you are determined? In this problem, we determine this type of attribute because the problem is giving the attribute. However, when you are doing the actual problems, actual situation, you can't find the exactly attributes. Then you want to analyze and get it. Right? You want to analyze the problem and you want to identify the attribute. Right? When you are doing it practically, you want to do these type of things. But in this case, the problem is clearly given. Therefore, the attributes are clear. Right? These attributes for assign the values. Then methods. Methods for what? Methods for doing something. Inside the problem, there are lots of things to do. Sometimes calculate. Right? Calculate the things. Right? Sometimes display the things. In that way, there are lots of things to do. How you are going to do the things? Through the methods. In our problem here, there are 4 things we should want to do. Right? The first one, get index value. Should want to get the index value. The values are inserting, given through the main program. Then second method for get the name. Third method for get the marks. The fourth method for display information. Right. The value need to this each method pass in from the main method. Before passing, the values you should want to insert. Right. This code set, that's highlighted this code set of code explaining how to insert the value. Values you are going to insert through the keyboard. Therefore, they are using cin value. Right. Then before you want to create the object, that's the first thing in the main program. Create the object array. The array size is here 2. Then you want to assign the input the values. This is the way how you are input the value. Right. Then look at the code here. Then identify how assign values. Right. How giving this how use the dot operator. How use this index value. Right. These things you want to familiar. Right. Then this following codes for pass in the values. The whatever the values you insert through this code, you want to pass it through the class methods. These 3 set of codes, what is doing these 3 set of code is pass in the value. Then finally print the print the heading. Then from the main method, it should want to call to the display info method. This is how call in the display info. Right. Just simply I am explaining it, but before that I am explaining it in detail. Okay, if not clear further, then follow the recording of this lecture later. Then you can understand better, right? I think now it is okay. That's the example. We are starting. We are started the lesson today with that example. Through this example, you learned lots of things in the object-oriented programming, and also you cleared lot of things. How to create in the array object, how to pass values from the array object to the methods in the class, right? Then you identify methods and attributes are in one location, that is called class. Then later we identify this thing in a separate concept, as a separate concept, what is called encapsulation. Encapsulation meaning methods and attributes, collecting methods and attributes and getting it to in one bundle, one place, right? That concept called encapsulation. That later we'll identify that part today itself when we have in time. These are the things you learn through this example here. Right. Okay. Now time to move to next part. Go back to our system. 31% of you submitted here. The other one, the other group, no one submitted here. Right. Okay. However, we'll move to the next part of our lesson called constructors. Another important concept in the object-oriented programming. Important concept. Right. We'll try to understand what is constructor, how assign constructors, how differ constructor from the normal methods, then types of constructors. These are the things you want to familiar from this lesson. Right? At the end of the constructor lesson, you are familiar what is constructor, how assign constructor using C++, then how differ constructors from other methods, and also you will familiar the type of constructors also with the examples also. Right. Here, the notes is available in this PDF. Please click on the construct PDF here. Five slides available in this note. Please save this note on your C++ folder on your computer, right? That last week I giving instruction how to maintain the nodes. I am not giving any specific node. All the nodes I am deliver as a PDF. Right. This is the note regarding the constructor. If you can then get a printout and you can maintain a separate file. That's also okay. Or otherwise, at least make a folder on your own computer and maintain this set of note as a soft copy. Right. Here, look at the first slide. Constructor, giving some definition. It's a special type of method. Constructor is a method. Here, the difference is the methods are automatically called when objects are created at the time of object created. But normal methods, that remember how normal methods are work. Right? If you want to access the normal methods, you want to create the object and also you want to use the dot operator. Through the dot operator only you can access to the methods. But constructor is a special method. No need that dot operator. When the time of creating the object, it automatically call the method or constructor. That's the simple definition of the constructor. Right. Then to create the constructor, you want to understand how to create. Right. Then we'll see how can create the constructor. Actually, the name of the constructor is the same as the class name. And it must. You must use the class name for the constructor as the constructor name. Only giving the class name. No void, no return type, no any other things. Only class name. Right. Look at the example here. Example. Right. Better to keep this note on your there. That I am using the PowerPoint slide presentation here. Right. Look at the example here. This one. Simple example. Here the class name is my class. Right? Class name is my class. Then one method available. This is called constructor. Right? Look at the method here. Only the name of the class available here. My class and closing and opening the rounded bracket there. Only the name of the class is available. No return type here. Don't use return type with the constructor. If you are using the return type accidentally, then it is wrong. Right? Don't use return type here. Only just give the name of the class. It must be in the name of the class, right? Name of the class and the constructor must be same. Right? Then inside the class, then you can assign anything. Right? Any logical things you can assign inside the class. Here in this example, say cout hello world. Right. Look at the main program here now. Right. Here, my class, use the class name to create the object. This is the place where creating the object. This line is the place where creating the object. When the time of creating the object, that automatically call to the method in the class. That's the main difference between other methods and the constructor. Constructor කියලා කියන්නේ class name එකේ භාවිතා කරලා හදන method එකක්. Class name එක භාවිතා කරලා හදන method එකක්. ඒ method එකට return types නැහැ. Void, int ඒ වගේව දාන්නේ නැහැ. Just දාන්නේ නම විතරයි. නම මොකද්ද? class name එක. අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම class name එක වෙන්න ඕන. හරි. method එක ඇතුලේ අපිට අවශ්‍ය logical things අපිට define කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේකේ තියෙන විශේෂත්වය අනිත් methods වලට වඩා වෙනස් වෙන්නේ මේකට call වෙන්නේ main program එකේ ඉඳලා call වෙන්නේ object එක හදන වෙලාව. when at the time of creating the object. දැන් මේකේ මේ main method එක ඇතුලේ තියෙනවද dot operate එකක් my obj dot my class කියලා එහෙම ඒ method name එක use කරනවද නැහැ. එහෙම දේවල් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. right මේකේ තියෙනවා create an object of my class. This will call the constructor. Constructor කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේ දේ. right here giving some features of the constructor that we discussed now. Constructor has the same name as the class. It is always public. That's the point, remember, important point. Always public, and it does not have return value. These are the things you want to remember. Then when you are in later after this class, please do this example. Now I am not going to complete that example here, right? Because we have another examples to do. This one is simple. Later you can do it and try do and understand what is constructor. Simple idea. Right. Therefore, I am moving to the next slide. Constructors with parameters. Right. For the constructors, as same as the other method. At the other method, they can use parameters. In the previous slide here, in the constructor having empty brackets, opening and closing rounded brackets. Right. Inside the opening and rounding bracket, no parameters. That is called empty constructor. Right. Empty parenthesis available here. But if need, you can pass the parameters for the constructor. In that case, you need parameters here. Right. If need, you can pass values from other methods to the constructor. In that case, constructor need parameters to capture the values. Right. This type of constructors called parameterized constructors that later will identify under types of constructors. Until that, remember, you can pass value the constructors you can design with the parameters. Right here given constructors can also take parameters just like regular functions, which can be useful for setting initial values for attributes. Right, look at the example here. Here the first identify the class public, then under that two variables, string variables, brand and model. Three variables here also there, integer value. Three public variables and constructor. Right. Just having the name of the class car. Here not empty, this time not empty, within bracket having three parameters. Three parameters. Then the value for these parameters passing from the main program. Passing from the main program. Then think about how can design the main program there. Can someone tell me how design the main program? Before I show in the main program here, can someone suggest the main program look like?
So object එක හදද්දී value pass කරන්න ඕනේ.
Object එක හදනකොට තමයි values pass කරන්නේ. හොඳ point එකක් ඒක. කොහොමද values pass කරන්නේ කියන්නේ. Right? At the time of creating the object, all the values should be passed. That is why I am asking to someone suggest to how main program look like. Main program එක මෙන්න මේ වගේ තමයි main program එක. Create car object මේ තියෙන්නේ object 1. මෙතන object දෙකක් හදලා තියෙනවා. First one, at the time of creating the object, in this way you can pass the parameter. First one is a text value, therefore you need this double quotation. Second one also string value. Integer values, no need to double quotation, just put the value there. Right. Then second object also, similarly you can create the object. At the time of creating the object, you can pass the value. Right. Last two lines for printing. In this case, the printing is in main program. The printing you can do in the main program, either in the main program or in the class as a separate method. That depend on your problem, your way. That depend on, if you like, you can do the printing in the class, or if you like, you can print in the main program. Is it clear what is constructor and the parameterized constructor? This one also you can do it. This example homework, right? That homework, the first one, previous slide done. This one also homework. Then some features of the constructor. Constructor is different from the normal functions in the following ways. These are the some of the ways constructor are differ from the normal functions or normal method. That I am using the both name. The both names are referring to same thing. That means functions and methods. Sometimes they are saying functions. Right? Sometimes methods. Actually, the correct name is method. When we are discussing about the object-oriented programming, the correct name is method. Right? ඒ වුණාට අර පුරුද්දට එක කියවෙනවා function කියන එක. Functions method කියන දෙකම refer වෙන්නේ එකම දෙයකට. ඒ කියන්නේ methods වලට. Right. Look at some differences. Constructor has same name as the class itself. Right? Constructor එකේ නම අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම class එකේ නම විය යුතුයි. සාමාන්‍ය method එකක එහෙම නැහැ. ඕනෙම නමක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. Default constructor don't have input arguments. Default constructor don't have input argument, but the other types have some parameter values. Right? Then next point, don't have return type. That earlier we discussed that part. Don't have return type. Then automatically called when object time of creating the object. That's also point out the last slide. It must be placed in the public section of the class. That's another important point that earlier also mentioned it. Constructors are always public, right? Public access specifier is public. Then if we do not specify constructors, C++ compiler generate a default constructor for object. Expect no parameters and has an empty body. Right? We are not specifically giving the constructors. What C++ doing is automatically created, generate by default the constructors. Right. These are some features of the constructor. Then types of constructors here. There are three types that already we learned: this default and parameterized constructor. Right. Default one has no parameters, only the empty brackets available with the class name, but parameterized within brackets having some parameters with the class name. Right. Another type is copy constructor. Copy constructor is available to copy the values from one object to another object. Through the copy constructor, you can copy the values of one object to another object. right එක object එකක තියෙන values ටික තව object එකකට copy කරන්න අවශ්‍ය වුණොත් copy constructor භාවිතා කරන්න පුළුවන් right අපි ඒකට example එකක් කරනවා මේ තියෙන්නේ default constructor කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා right this is the description of default constructor that already I explained then later you can see the notes parameterize constructor also giving some idea about the parameterize then look at the copy constructor here that earlier just mentioned it copy constructor is available to copy the values of objects to another object right here the syntax to use in the copy construct right look at the syntax here in this case what is the class name it's a constructor syntax for copy constructor by looking at the constructor you can you will be able to say the name of the class right? The name of the class is here sample right sample then within bracket having a parameter what the parameter type here parameter type is sample type right? Sample type this is the way how define the object this is not the pointer operator right that earlier in last semester you learned when you are doing some pointers you familiar with the operator like that right this is the way how the copy constructor assign this copy constructor this parameter we are using to capture the values of the other object right values of the other object then you can assign these values to your required file name right when you are doing the example you can understand it clearly for the now understand the syntax here right another concept actually earlier I forgot to mention that one also under constructors you want to understand this one also constructors overloading constructors overloading overloading mean within the class more than one constructors should have it is possible right it is possible to have in more than one constructors if you are giving more than one constructors by giving the same name you want to define it through the parameters right? The parameters number of parameters may be different right here it given we can have more than one constructors in the same name with different list of argument this concept called constructor overload then what is constructor overloading meaning class may have more than one constructors having same name but different list of argument that's the important point to remember same name but different list of argument right under these points it giving this important point here essentially have the same name exact name and different by the type of argument while creating the object argument must be passed to let compiler know which constructor need to be called right through the argument that compiler understand from the argument which constructor to be called කොයි constructor එකටද call කරන්න කියලා compiler එක තේරුම් ගන්නේ අර argument list එකෙන් නැත්නම් parameters list එකෙන් හරි හොඳයි මේ example එක තියෙනවා බලන්න look at the example here මේ example එකේ class name එක person private variable එකක් තියෙනවා age කියලා බලන්න public යටතේ පළවෙනි constructor මේකේ තියෙන empty ඒ කියන්නේ default parameter එක empty තියෙනවා නම් ඒකේ type එක මොකද්ද default parameter ඒක ඇතුලේ age කියලා 20යි define කරලා තියෙනවා constructor දෙක බලන්න නම සමානයි personමයි නමුත් එක parameter එකක් තියෙනවා a ඒකට HA කියලා දාලා තියෙනවා. A කියන එක වෙන තැනකින් පාස් වෙනවා මෙතන. main program එකෙන් මෙතනට එනවා. හරි. ඊළඟට age එක අරගෙන value එක return කරනවා. මේක age එක අරගෙන value එක return කරන්න තියෙනවා. මේ get age කියන එකට පුළුවන් පළවෙනි constructor එකෙන් 20 return කරන්න. දෙවෙනි constructor එකෙන් එන value එක අපි හිතමු 50යි කියලා. ඒ 50 return කරන්නත් මේකෙන් පුළුවන්. return කරලා මේ main program එකේදී ඒක print කරනවා. බලන්න main program එක look at the main program here. Person. There are two objects here, person 1 and person 2. Right? Person 1 just no having any parameters. Just a object name there, person 1. Right? Person 2 having one parameter. Person 2 having one parameter. Right? That's the way of passing. That is for second constructor, parameterized constructor. The first object is default constructor. Second object is parameterized constructor. Right. In this example, explain lots of concept behind the constructor here. Not only overloading, that parameter passing also it's explained. Right. Now that's the discussion of constructor, end of discussion of the constructor. Right. Now we'll do some practicals regarding the constructor. Right. Let's go back to the our platform here. Go back to the Neopod platform. Right. Try to do this example now. Create a class, C++ class called student. Write down C++ program to enter and print the following data. Right. ID number, name and fees of students. Use constructor to initialize the value. මේ constructor එක භාවිතා කරලා තමයි කරන්න ඕනේ. වෙන ක්‍රම වලට කරන්න එපා. Right. Now you can start it. Right. පටන් ගන්න කරන්න. Some students are submitted the problem. Fatima Shimla. Fatima, can you hear me? The
So
other
that was
students, continue the example. Others, I'm concentrate with the Fatima only. That this previous one, no?
yes, sir.
That previous one here. Okay, okay. You want to active this one, no? The second group, students in the second group submit the answer for this one, right? Try to submit it now. I think 5 or 3 minutes is enough for this. It's not a complex one. Okay, Mohammed, you submitted again. You see your one. Mohammed, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can I?
Yeah. That the problem asking you to use the constructor, not parameterized constructor. Right? Just
Right.
choose the constructor. That mean constructor mean that's default constructor. That's the first type. No parameter values there. Without having the parameter values, you want to complete it. If you are using the second way, that parameters values, in that case also something wrong here, right? Then no need to declare in this public variable. Without having this public variable, you want to do it in the parameterized constructor. If you are using the parameterized one also, right? Later we can do that one. To change this program, same program for the, without using the parameters, just constructor. Right here, problem giving constructor. Use constructor to initialize the data. Not it says parameterized constructor. Just construct. Right then, Lasantha submitted the answer. We'll see Lasantha's one. Yeah, did the same thing, ne? Parameterize. මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ මන් දුන්නේ මේ constructors වලින් කරන්න. Parameterize වලින් කරත් මේ private members ටික අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. හරි. අර කම්ප්ලීට් කරනකො අර විදියට නසික් දෙකම යූස් කරලා තියෙනවා නේ නසික් මොහමඩ් නසික් කෑනවද?
ඔව් සර් දෙකම යූස් කරලා තියෙනවා.
දෙකම යූස් කරලා තියෙනවා. මේකේ මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන එකයි ස්ටුඩන්ට් කන්ස්ට්‍රක්ටර් ඩිෆෝල්ට් කන්ස්ට්‍රක්ටර් විතරයි. ඕකටම දාන්න අනිත් දෙක.
ඕකේ සර්.
Shakira Banu. Student count. Shakira, can you hear me? Shakira. Let's look at the variable. Here I want to print in the according to the program. What are the variable you need to print? ID number, name and fees. But this is someone else, no? This program. That the example I am asking you to do in the home. Right now, do this example. Change it now. Using only constructor, do this program. Using constructor without using the parameters. Do this program. May program එක කරන්න parameter use කරන්න නැතුව. Pawan. පවන් අන්තිමට වරද්දලා ඔක්කොම හරියට කරලා. නේද? පවන් නැහෙනවද?
ඔව් සර්.
මේ ක්ලාස් එක හරි ඔක්කොම හරි මේ මෙතන ඩොට් එකක් යූස් කරේ. ඩිස්ප්ලේ කෝල් කරන්නද?
ඔව් සර්. ඒ අර අනිත් මෙතෙන්ට
හරි. sorry. හරි. මෙතන වෙන මෙතඩ් තිබ්බොත් මෙතඩ් එක අර පරණ විදිහට තමයි කෝල් කරන්න ඕනේ මේ විදිහට ඩොට් ඔපරේටර් එක යූස් කරලා. හරි. ඔයාගේ අර මම ඒක දැක්කේ නෑ ඒක.
හරි සර්.
මේ පික් කරලා තියෙන්නේ වෙනම මෙතඩ් එක. මේ ක්‍රමයට තමයි ඕනේ වෙන්නේ. construct එකේම value define කරලා construct එක default වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒකට parameters නැහැ. එතකොට මේ values ටික define කරලා තියෙනවා public විදියට. ඒක හරි. ඕනනම් මේ student construct එක ඇතුළෙම define කරන්න පුළුවන් values. වෙනම ගන්න නැතුව. හරි ඈ හොඳයි. චාමර හරි. චාමරගේ හරි printing එක තියෙනවා main program එකේ කරලා තියෙන්නේ. චේති විතානගේ මේකත් හරි. මේ කෙලින්ම printing එකත් construct එක ඇතුළෙම කරලා තියෙනවා. construct එක ඇතුලේ ඔක්කොම තියෙන මේක තමයි වඩාත් කියන්නේ මම හරියටම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ මේ වගේ. මොකද වෙන කොහෙවත් නැත. කෙලින්ම main program එක ඇතුලේ object එක create කරනකොට at the time of creating the object it called to the constructor. concept එක හරියටම කියවෙන්නේ එතන. හොඳයි. අනිත් group එකේ කවුරුත් නැද්ද තාම? They are doing the examples here. Hashir, Shehan Fernando, Pramodya Shehan, Nipuna. මේගොල්ලෝ ඉන්නවද පන්ති? ගයත්‍රි. මල්ෂා රන්දෙලිය, ෆාතිමා ශිම්ලා. ෆාතිමා ශිම්ලා නම් දැම්මා ඉස්සෙල්ලා එකක්. මේක දාන්න. අනිත් අය මේ group එකේ එවන්න. කොතව ගොඩක් ඉන්නවා සබ්මිට් කර. මේක අමාරු එකක් නෙමෙයි. බලන්න අනිත් අය මම තව විනාඩි කිහිපයක් දෙන්නම් මේක මේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එක කරමු බලන්න එක. right. ලසන්ත ප්‍රදීප්. ලසන්ත ඇහෙනවද මාව?
Oh, yes, sir.
ලසන්ත, where is the place printing the values?
Print කරන්න නැහැ, sir.
printing value ටික දාන්න මෙතනට. මෙතන
Okay,
මේ constructor එක ඇතුළටම දාන්න print කරන්න.
Okay, sir.
Right. Mohammed, other Mohammed. I don't know the name, the other name. Mohammed, two Mohammeds available. Mohammed, that earlier one. Mohammed Nil Shah. Mohammed Nasib. Who is the just Mohammed here? Student. Mohammed, can you hear me?
Yes,
Right. Then where is the place creating the object?
in
In the main
main
program, right? Right. Right. Okay, okay. Your one is correct here. But the best thing is all the things you do it inside the constructor. Constructor එක ඇතුලේ ඔක්කොම දේවල් printing කරන ටික variable define කරන ඔක්කොම constructor එක ඇතුලේ අර concept එක identify කරන්න. නැත්නම් වැරදි නෙමෙයි වෙන වෙන තැන්වල කරාට ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. අර concept එක identify කරන්න තමයි මම කිව්වේ ඔක්කොම ටික constructor එක ඇතුලේම කරලා ඕන. Inas string Hi. Okay, your one is correct. That's all the things you are doing in the constructor within the constructor. Right. Prabodhya. Void display. Right, your one also okay. Right, other group who is Fatima Shimla. Yes, Shimla's son. Yes. Yes, that's also correct, right? Your variables is assigned inside the constructor. That's also okay. Right, Shimla's your one also correct. Dasun. Lakshan. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Dasun, can you hear me? Dasun, I know that.
Sir, yes, sir.
Oh, Dasun, object එක හදලා තියෙන්නේ කොහෙද කොහොමද හැදුවේ? How you create the object? Main
Sir,
program.
object එකේ ඉතුරු කෑල්ල වැදිලා නැහැ sir.
ඒක තමයි. Right. මේක
Sir, මම
මේ
ඒක edit
class
කරන්න sir.
edit කරන්න ඒක. Class
හරි
name එක
sir.
use කරන්න student.
හරි sir.
Object name එක වෙන එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right, okay. Please complete the other students also. Because of time problem, I am moving to the next part, next activity. Another one here, Rukya, no? Rukya. Yes, okay. Right. Okay, your one is okay. Right. Nipun, Nadisha. Yes. You are doing the full program that inserting the values through the keyboard also. That's okay. Your one is correct. But for this type of simple programs, No need to do the full program, right? To just understand the concept. Therefore, just it is okay to give in just name equal some name, right? ID equals 001 like that. Just put the values. That's also okay, no problem. Right. The 40% of you are okay. Here still 17. Right. However, I am moving to the next part, next exercise. Right. Look at the next exercise here. Now stop the working, all of work in that previous one, right? That later after the class you can complete it. Now all of you concentrate on here. Now this example, starting from here, save the previous one. Save the previous one, then take a new file to do this. They're asking create a C++ program to find the area of rectangle. Consider the following factors. Data should be initialized through the constructor. Same values should be copied to a new object and print the values of new object. Right, this example here, that further I am explaining it. Please wait. I am explaining to start. After I am explaining, you can start it, right? This example is regarding the copy constructor. Copy. Right? Here, asking to design the object to find the area of the rectangle. Right? The first step, you create a program, C++ program, create the object. Create the object to find an area. To find area of rectangle. Right. The first complete that one. Complete the exam. Right. Then second part, create another object. Create another object. Right. Then copy values of previous object. Values of previous object to the new object. Second part, create another object, create new object, another object, then copy the values of previous object. Previous object means the object you created under one. Right? Previous object to the new object. Right? Then in this case, use constructors, only constructors. Right? Using the constructors you want to do, right? To find the area of the rectangle also, it is also through the constructor. Okay. Now you can start it, right? Here that explain that program, the problem given that one, data should be initialized through the constructor. Right? Don't use any other methods to calculate the values. Only if you want, you can use a separate method to print the values. Printing purpose. All the things you want to do inside the constructors. Right, now you can start it. This example. Start it now. Right, all of you are now start this example. Close the previous activities. Later you can complete the previous one, right? Now all of students start this one. Right here, one student is submitted. That we'll see this one. Cheti Vitanage. Right. So here you need yeah. Okay. Using namespace. Right. Here using name space std should be need to put here. Then two variables width and length, rectangle. Here you are using a default constructor, that's okay. However, in this case, I am not specified to use default or parameterize. If you are using the parameterize, it is also okay, right? From here, you are calculating the area of rectangle, right? Then this second parameter, second constructor, again the name of the constructor is same. That means constructor, name of the method is rectangle. You need the parameter rectangle type parameter here. This is the way declaring the rectangle type parameter. It's correct. Yes. Then you want to assign the copy values for the width obj.width, obj.length. Right. Here the way of creating the second object, that's also correct. Rec2 is the second object. It should be equal with the rec1. Then only copy the values of rec1 into rec2. When the time of creating the rec2, it automatically called to the rectangle in this method here. Right. Main program problem here void, not void in the main program. It should be in. Yes, correct. Area of rectangle. The both statements are similar. Now, logically, we know the value. The second statement is the copied of the first one. The values are copied. The second statement is a copy. Right? The second statement has not own values, its own values. දෙවෙනි statement එකට ඒකේ own values නැහැ. ඒක පළවෙනි එකේ copy. ඒක අපි logically දන්නවා. නමුත් එකපාරටම result එක බලන කෙනාට පේන්නේ එකම කියලා. statement එක සමානයි කියලා දන්නේ. ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එක බලපුවම තමයි ඒක දන්නේ copy එකක් කියලා. That's correct. හරි හොඳයි. Then we'll see another one, Muhammad Nasik. Area. Right. Right. Nasik, your one also correct. You did some changes for the statement part. That's also okay. Then we can get the idea here. The second statement is copied one. Right? This 50 is copied from the previous one.
සර්
Okay,
ඒකේ
good.
මේ කොපි කරන ඔබ්ජෙක්ට් එක B කියලා දාලා තියෙන්නේ ඇයි සර්? යට හදලා තියෙන්නේ A1 කියලා නේද?
මේක පැරාමීටර් දෙම යට හදපු A1 එක ඒකේ values අල්ලගන්නද මේක තියෙන්නේ B පැරාමීටර් name එක නේද ඒක වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන් නේද?
හරි සර් හරි. හරි සර් හරි.
කවුද තව ඉන්නේ? චාමර හරි. හරි චාමර හරි. නාසර් මොහොමඩ් කවුද ආයේ RM ශ්‍යාම් ශ්‍යාම් first time තමයි activity එකක් එවලා තින්නේ නේද? ඇහෙනවද? Can you hear me ශ්‍යාම්? ශ්‍යාම් ඇහෙනවද ශ්‍යාම්? Can you hear me? And having it problem with mic, then chat box, use the chat box. ශ්‍යාම් බලන්න ඔයාගේ public constructor copy object concept එක මෙතන ඇවිල්ලා නැහැ. තව object එකක් හදන්න ඕනේ. හදලා ඒක equal කරන්න ඕනේ first object එකට. Right? You need to create a new object here. Then it should want to equal to the previous object. Then you need another constructor to capture the values of new object. I think this one is not clear. You need another constructor here with different parameters. Shyam, right? I think you are with me. Then change your program. right මම මේ program එක පොඩ්ඩක් ලියන්න අනිත් අය බලා ගන්න. First, start with the class, creating the class. Then suppose the class name is area. Right. To find the rectangle, you need two attributes. Suppose in width and height, W and H, two variable, you need to find the area. Right. Then I am using constructor. Constructor should be the same name as class name, area. Right. Here I am using parameterize constructor, because that earlier one we are using the default constructor, not using the parameters. Right. Then need to calculate the area constructor need values from the main program. The main program passing the values to the constructor. To capture the values, it needs variables. Therefore, I am using two integer variables, suppose x and y. This x, the values for x and y pass in from the main program. Then it equal to the W and H. W is the width. That means x values. Height should set the y values. X and y values are passing from the main program. Right. That's the first constructor, parameterized constructor. This one called parameterized constructor. Then that first complete the program. Right. First complete it in main. Right. Area, create the object called A. Then to print the values, that I am going to return the values in find area. කියමු display area කියලා. Return area. Right. The values should pass at the time of creating the object. Right. Now, I think that's the first part of the question. Right. You create the class, then two public variables. Is the parameterized constructor. Right. Here having two parameters x and y. The value for x and y you can pass when the time of creating the object. Object creating happening inside the main program. Then when the time of creating the object, here the object name is A, the same time you can pass the parameters. Right. Then parameters 20 take x, 10 get the y. Then x value, that means 20 equal to W, y value 10 equal to h, w 20, h 10. Okay, back to the lesson again. I have some problem here. Right, where we stop that this program here. Right here, it should be written w into h. And once you return it, you can print it inside the main program. See out area equal a dot display area. Right, that's the first part of the program. Now you can build it. Yeah, it should be end L. Zero warning, zero errors. If you run it, area 200. That's the first part. Then you want to copy these values to another object. That means the second object, you need to create another object in the main program. Right? Area, then second object, suppose B. Right. Then B should, all the values of A should equal to B. Therefore, B equal A. B equal A. Right. Now, you need another constructor to get the values for A, the new object. Therefore, go to the class, then define another constructor. The name is area. Now you need a parameter to capture the object values. Therefore, the type should be class type. The class type here is area. Then you need a parameter, object type parameter, that assigning with the AND operator, and suppose T, right, and T. This object type variable for capture the copy values. Right. Then you can copy it now through the T object here, W equal to t dot h height value, then h should be t dot equal h value. It here should be h value. The previous one w values. It should be w. This this constructor for capture the object values. This constructor for capture the object value. The name of the constructor is the class name. This name appear 2 times, but the parameter list is different. That is called constructor overloading. Same name, the constructor, more than one constructors having with the same name, but the list of parameter list is different. That is constructor overloading. The concept explained through this example. Right here, the finally you can print it the value of the second copied area. Copied area should be what? B dot B dot area, display area. This is the end of the program. And look at again the program here. First, define the class called area. Then we define 2 variables, width and height. Then the constructor, parameterize constructor to capture the values, normal values for the height, width and height, passing from the main program. That is called parameterize constructor. Then another type of constructor called copy constructor. Copy constructor. Copy constructor we are using to copy the values of another object. Values of another object. And to capture the values of another object, it needs a object type variable. Here defining the object type variable there. And through this variable, it capture the values of other object. And this is the way how capturing the values of other object using the dot operator. Right. This function for return the value. Once you return the value through this method, then you can print it in the main program. Right. Other important part here, all the values of the previous object you can equal to new object like that. Right. From this line, copied previous old object values to the new object. Now you can compile it and run the program. Here the first value is 200, copied value is 200 here, copied date. Right, okay, is it clear that point? Up to now, is it clear? Is there any doubts or unclear things? Then you can discuss me. Any problems? Can you explain it again? One student asking that. Yeah, I am explaining it. What about the others? The one student saying like that. However, I am explaining simply, not in detail. Look at here to try to understand. In this program, explain the constructor overloading. Constructor overloading. Constructor overloading mean using the same constructor several times. Same constructor. That means name of the constructor is equal. several times. However, their parameter list is different. Right? Their parameter list should be different. Right. Here the problem is asking to develop a program to find the area of the rectangle using the constructor overloading method. Right. To find the area of the rectangle, the first it needs two attributes. These two attributes W and H, width and height. Right. To find the area, I am using the parameterized constructor here. Parameterized constructor. Right. This parameterized constructor, it needs two parameters, X and Y, to capture the value passed from the main program. Right. To capture the value passed from the main program. Then it X value assigned to W, then Y value assigned to H. This X and value of the X and Y pass from the main program. Then look at the main program here. Here the place where creating the first object A. When the time of creating the object, the same time it passed the value within bracket 20 and 10. This 20 and 10 pass to the class method called area. Then there is a two parameters capture the 20 and 10, X and Y. X capture the 20, Y capture the 10. Then these captured value assigned to W and H. Right. This constructor for that purpose. Right. Then second constructor for copied the value of previous object. Copied the value of previous object. Previous object is A. Their value is 20 and 10. Right. The value of this object you can copy it through the second constructor. This is the second constructor. Right. This is called copied constructor. The second one is copied constructor. The previous one, parameterized constructor. Copied, how define the copied constructor is area. Then you need the parameter, area type object. You need the parameter assigning using the AND operator. This variable, this object type variable is capable of capturing the value of the object. Value of the object. That means A values. A is the object. Right? By capturing the A values, it put into W and H again. How we are going to put it using the dot operator. This is the way how the copied values are assigned to W and H. Then display area, this one for calculate the values. This one for calculate the values. After you calculate in the values, it return to somewhere else. That means main program. Then that means you can print this return value in the main program here. These two lines for returning. The first line for printing the first object values. Second one for copying, printing the copied object value, second object value. Right. That's the way this program is working. I think I am explaining it very briefly. That one that previously it explained it somewhat detailed. However, still not understand, then you can follow the recording of this lesson. Then you can clearly understand from the by looking at the recording there, right? I think it is okay now. Before moving to the next activity, now I am giving to break you 20 minutes break from now. 25 minutes break, right? Then 11:55. Yes, 11. Sorry, 43:53. Yes, 11:55. We'll meet again to do the rest of the lecture here, right? Okay, if you have any problem, you can put it in the chat box. Then I can go through the specific problem with you, right? Okay, we'll meet 11:55. Right, okay, we'll back to the lesson again. Here we are discussing about the constructor overloading. We did some examples regarding the constructor overloading. This is the example we did at last. Still you have to submit more. However, I am stopped the example discussing from here. In next slide also having one example. This is very similar to previous one. Then two constructors to want to create two constructors here in this case also, right? Therefore, I'm skip this example for now. Then later you can that I give this example as a homework. Then I'm giving this example as a note. Right. Then therefore I'm moving to the next slide. Here, this another topic, data abstraction. Data abstraction. Get the note by clicking the link below, data abstraction and encapsulation. That's right. Click on the link below. This is the note regarding the data abstraction, this one. Please keep this note in your folder. Right. We'll try to understand the data abstraction. Actually, it's a theoretical part. As a theory, you want to understand what is data abstraction. Data abstraction, actually, also we can identify it as hiding data. Right? Hiding lower level details, lower level data from the users. Right? When developing the systems or using the system, there are two parts, right, that we know that. One part is the developers part. The other one, users. Right? What the developers are using, the things are not required to the users. Users are separately. Right? The things using by the developers, no need to provide or give in to the users. Right? Therefore, it should be hide. That object oriented, that giving that feature, that the some data that if you suppose these data are not for the users, then that particular set of data you can hide it from the users. Only the relevant data you can provide to the users for their work. That is called data abstraction. By looking at this example, this real life examples, you can understand this concept very clearly. Right. Here the first example is regarding the AC machine. Right. We know what is AC, air conditioned machine. Right. When we have in the air conditioned machine in our room or our computer lab with a remote, as a users we should want to know how to on it, right? By switch on, switch off, then increasing the cool or using the fan. These are the things should know by the user. The users do not need to know what is happening inside the AC machine. What is the wire connection of the inside? Then what are the circuits they are using? What are the current situation inside? These details hide from you. Therefore, only the things you need to know, the external things, how to use it. You do not need to know what is happening inside the air conditioner or AC machine. That is called data hiding. AC machine එකක් ගත්තොත් ඒකේ අතුලත ක්‍රියාකාරීත්වය භාවිතා කරන්නට වැඩක් නැහැ. යූසර්ට ඕන වෙන්නේ ඒක on කරන්නේ කොහොමද? on switch එක තියෙන්නේ කොහෙද? off කරන්නේ කොහොමද? cooling අඩු වැඩි කරන්නේ කොහොමද? ඒ වගේ කරුණු. එයාට වැඩක් නැහැ මේක ඇතුලේ තියෙන circuits arrangement එක, current අඩු වැඩි වීම නේ. ඒ වගේ දේවල් යූසර්ට වැඩක් නැහැ. the developer එකේ පැත්තෙන් තියෙන details එයා hide කරනවා. ඒක තමයි data abstractions. ඒ වගේ තමයි the second example is regarding the car. Only the users need to know how to go fast, how to work with the steering wheel, how to brake it, and this type of things. But user's point of view, he should no need to know what is happening inside the car. That means how the engine is built up, right? How the oil and the other things are working inside the computer, inside the car, right? These are the internal to the computer. They hide from the users. Then like that, we can give many examples that the smartphones, that computer, right? There are many examples you can think of regarding the data abstraction here. Right. Then move to the next slide. Abstraction here explain the diagram. It's a class. This rectangle represent a person class. Person class define with name. There are some attributes here. Last name, skills, job, like that. The user of this class no need to know in these attributes. The user point of view, user no need to know in these attributes. Only the users concentrate with their actual names. දැන් අපි උදාහරණයක් විදිහට registration system එකක් හැදුවා කියන්නකො, student registration system. එතකොට ඒකේ එක form එකක් තියෙනවා person student detail enter කරන්න. There is a one form to enter the student detail. They are asking first name, last name, like that. එතන user කරන්නේ එයාගේ නම enter කරන එක. last name එක enter කරන එක. එයාට වැඩක් නැහැ මේ first name කියලා attribute එකක් තියෙනවා, last name කියලා attribute එකක් තියෙනවා. මේවා ඔක්කොම එක class එකක් ඇතුලේ තියෙන්නේ. ඒවා එයාට වැඩක් නැහැ. මේ class එකේ තියෙන දේවල් මේ කොටුව ඇතුලේ මේ සුදු පාට අර border එකක් තියෙන කොටුව ඇතුලේ තියෙන දේවල් user ට වැඩක් නැහැ. ඒවා hide කරනවා. යට එකත් එහෙමයි. මේක job class එක. Data abstraction is like that. Then මේ example එක දැන් අපි මේක සරල example එකක්. This example. Can someone tell me what's the output of this example here? මේක output එක මොකක් වෙයිද? Yes, 1 say to 8. Yes, 8 is the correct answer. N is 2 power 3. 2 to the power of 3. Calculate 2 to the power of 3. They are using POW. Can someone tell me what is this POW? Where it comes from? POW. මේ POW කියන කොහෙන්ද ආවේ?
math.h කියන library එකෙන් sir.
math.h library. එතකොට math.h කියන ෆයිල් එකේ තියෙන දේවල් ඒක ඇතුලේ තියෙන නම්බර් එකක් දුන්නාම මේකේ පවර් එක හොයන ලොජික් එක අපිට වැදගත් වුණාද? It is important that logic behind the finding the power of the number. All the logic behind finding the power of number is available in the math.h. As a users, we don't care about the logic behind this math.h. Only we are using it. අපි ඒක භාවිතා කරා විතරයි math.h කියලා. ඒක ඇතුලේ තියෙන දේවල් අපි පාවිච්චි කරා. ඒකේ logic එක අපි ලියන්න ගියේ නැහැ. Data hiding. That is called abstraction. Data abstraction. Right. This example you can do it later, right? By looking at the note, you can do it. Then another concept, encapsulation. Encapsulation provides the idea of combining the data and associated functions, so methods, with a single unit. This single unit is called class. All the attributes, all the methods are getting into one place, one class, one location, that is called class. Then real life example එකක් කරා පැහැදිලි කරොත් මෙන්න මේ වගේ situation එකක්. Encapsulation, that capsule, you know that the medicine, we are getting some capsule. This capsule contain, look at the diagram here, variables and methods. That's like a capsule, class like a capsule. That's explaining it here, encapsulation. We are not worried about these variables and methods. Only we are using it. No, then මෙති තියෙන්නේ කරල්. අපි ඔක කරල දෙකට කඩලා ඇතුලේ තියෙන මොනවද කියලා බලලා ආයෙ වහලා කටේ දාගන්නේ නැහනේ. කෙලිම කරල ගත්තා. ඇතුලේ මොනවද තිබ්බත් අපිට අපි ඒ ගැන consider කරන්නේ නැහැ. We are not bothered about the content, inside content of the capsule. ඇතුලේ තියෙන්නේ අර හැම ද්‍රව්‍යයකම එකතුවක්. Classes, methods තියෙනවා, variables තියෙනවා. Somewhat similar to abstraction also, right? There's a similar concept here, little differences. Right. Then look at this example here, encapsulation. That's a normal example. That's this type of example we did up to now. Here, many examples we did here. Here having private variable, then public two methods available. The together private variables and public methods all are inside the class. ඔක්කොම public සහ private variable ඔක්කොම එක class එකට ගොනු කරලා තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ main method එකෙන් කරන්නේ ඒක භාවිතා කරන එක. අපිට ඕන විදිහට අපි object හදා ගන්නවා. අපිට ඕන විදිහට අපි object හදද්දී අර class එකේ තියෙන දේවල් ගැන අපි bothered වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපිට අපි අදාළ කරගන්නේ parameters pass වෙනවද, ඒව parameters define කරලා තියෙන්නේ කොහොමද, ඒ ගැන bothered වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපිට අවශ්‍ය විදිහට object එකක් අපි හදාගන්න එක කරන්නේ. Right, that's encapsulation. That's also simple example. You can do it also as a homework. Then comparison. Look at this comparison here. Abstraction versus encapsulation. Look at the abstraction column. Abstraction solve the problem in the design level. Encapsulation solve the problem in the implementation level. What is design level? මොකද්ද මේ දෙකේ වෙනස? design level කියන්නේ class එක අපි design කරන වෙලාව. අපි තීරණය කරනවා attributes. We determine that the required attributes. Attributes මොනවද? Required methods මොනවද? ඒවා attributes වල data types මොනවද? Methods වල return type තියෙනවද නැද්ද? Constructors use කරන්නේ කොහොමද? Constructors වලට parameters pass වෙනවද නැද්ද? Parameters කීයක් යනවද? ඕවනේ designing. ඕව ඔක්කොම අපි design කරන්න ඕනේ. අන්නේ design level එකේදී එන ගැටලු තමයි abstraction කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒකේ එන ගැටලු විසඳීම. So abstraction solves the problem in the design level. Encapsulation means the time where actually doing these things. ඉස්සෙල්ලා කරේ අපි design parameters කීයක් තියෙනවද කියලා අපි determine කරා. parameter 3යි කියමු. එහෙනම් ඒ 3 අපි actually integer කියලා අපි ලියලා code කරලා ගන්නවා. ඒක implementation. That's the level of implementation. Encapsulation involved is the mostly involved with the implementation level. අපි කෝඩින් කරනකොට මතුවෙන ගැටලු විසඳීම තමයි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට encapsulation කියලා කියන්නේ. Abstraction is used for hiding the unwanted data and giving the relevant data. That earlier example you can identify clearly that earlier that air condition or and car example, right? And the use unwanted data, they are hiding the unwanted data abstraction, only giving the relevant data. The users not need to know the internal engine, how work in the internal engine in the car. That's unwanted. Only the user know how to break it, how to start. That's the relevant data. Encapsulation means hiding the code and data into single unit to protect the data from outside world. That's the main reason why encapsulation need. Right? Protect data from the outside world. That's the one of the advantage also, which not find in the procedure-based computing. Through the classes, you can protect your especially sensitive data from the outside world. Then another difference, abstraction lets you focus on what the object does instead of how it does. Object එකේ මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ කියන එක ගැන තමයි consider කරන්නේ. ඒක object එක අපි හදනවට වඩා how it does it. ඒක වැඩ කරන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එකට වඩා what does එකකින් කරන්නේ මොකක්ද කියන එක පිළිබඳව තමයි abstraction level එකේදී consider කරන්නේ. Encapsulation means hiding the internal details or mechanics of how an object does something. Then abstraction, outer layout used in terms of design. Abstraction consider the outer layout. Look at the example here, outer look of mobile phone. Like it has a display screen, keypad, button to dial number. These are the things we consider in the abstraction level. In the encapsulation level, inner implementation detail of a mobile phone, how keypad, button, and display screen are connected with each other, internal circuits and other circuits. That earlier, that feature also mentioned, describe it. In the encapsulation, they are considered about how internal parts arrangement, their wire connection, how their circuits are arranging. But in the abstraction, only consider the outer part of the object. These are the some differences between this abstraction and encapsulation. Right, now move back to again our activity sheet here. Next you have activity 15 question there. Once I start activity from here, then you can do it right in your computers. Right here now I am going to start this activity. 10 minutes available. Within 10 minutes you can try to complete the question here. Right, I think now time is over here. Yes. Both the groups should want to end with the time. Here, actually, most of you are getting the 15 out of 15. All questions are correct, but some of you are missing some answers here. Majority of you are okay. Right. However, some of you are not answered. I don't know the reason for that. Sahana, then Vishwa Dasun not reply for any question. Shakira, Preeta, then another one, only the number is available. Fatima, Rukia, Sumeda Bandar, Ashik, Mohammad Rizak, Malsha Randenia, Robodya, Gayatri, Afra Jabil, Dhananjay, they are not giving any answer for the question, right? Please try to do these activities. It is very important. Therefore, try to do these activities here. The other group also, there are here people from Odya, Varnakula, Vikas, Gayatri, not answered, right? There are some more students here. Right, think here no need to discuss the questions. Or which of the following access specifier is used as a default? Normally default is private, no? Right, then wrapping data and its related functionality into single entity is called wrapping data. Its data and related functions is called encapsulation. That's we learned earlier. How access specifiers in class help to abstraction? They does not help in any way. They allow us to show only required things outerward. They help in keeping things together. Abstraction concept is not used class. Here, the second one, we access specifier. Using the access specifier, actually hide data. Only the relevant data given to the outside world. Access specifiers, they are helping to do that. Public, private, and protected also. Later you will learn what is protected. Right? Which of the following is an abstract data type? Abstract mean user created data, actually class. The others are all other types of all data types are it's already created. The compiler giving you two, right? Integer, double, strings are already created data type, not abstract. The class data types are only the abstract one. Then using class data types, you can create your own objects. Right. Then which of the following gets called when an object is being created? Constructor, virtual function, destructor, and main. Constructor. The technique of finding internal detail in an object is called, what is called that? Hiding internal details to the outside world, abstraction. Observe the program given in the image. In the above example of constructor overloading, the following statement will call which constructor? Actually, this type of creating object is in Java programming, right? However, this is the way of creating new object. to call which constructor? Here only 3 parameters. 3 parameters having A, B, C constructor int A, int A, B, C. Here, for constructor 4. The answer should be constructor 4. Wait until hello. Right, okay, back into the lesson again. However, that we should have another half an hour remaining, but however, I want to stop it now, right? Therefore, here I am going to stop it now. I think rest of the questions you can complete here. It is not difficult one. From next week, I am starting from here. Want to discuss some theory parts that from next time I will discuss that one, right? Okay. Then I stop it here. Okay, thank you very much for the participation.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome to you.